So you want to know how to build a homemade MRE from Amazon. At least that's what some of y'all told me. Well, let's do that. Let's dive into the good, the bad, and the ugly of building a homemade MRE from an online source. First of all, thank you to everybody for clicking on this video. So I'm recording this video very early in the week this time around, and we just passed 9,000 subscribers. So by the time this video drops, it's very possible this channel could be at or above 10,000. Huge thank you to everybody for jumping on board with this and enjoying this ride with me as we explore these homemade MREs. I never thought that this would be the content that would catch and people would appreciate, but it's been a lot of fun. I enjoy doing this, and thank you guys so much. Now, as you can probably tell by my voice, I was visited by the funk fairy who sprinkled me with some kind of fairy dust germs or something. So I'm feeling a little funky today, but I wanted to make sure and get this video recorded because I'm working on something right now where at the time this video drops, I'm hoping to be on a camping excursion. I'm exploring another creepy camping location and we're going on a monster hunt. So I hope that that's something that you guys are going to want to come along for, and that will be coming soon. But before we get into this, I got to make up something to drink. I got to kick this crud because I can't have it keep me from being able to go camping this weekend. So we're gonna do some of that. And then as previously stated in my last video, this is my sick remedy. This is what I go to when I don't feel well. So we're gonna throw a little bit of this in with that vitamin C boost. Just enough to give it a little extra flavor. Now this wasn't part of my MRE this time, but if you see me drinking this throughout the video, you'll know why. Cheers to all of you for helping me get to 10,000 subscribers. So let's dive into this. We have the Dad Budget Adventures Homemade MRE Menu AZ1 completely purchased from Amazon.com. Now, one thing I did a little bit different with this particular MRE was I tried to stay with a very specific theme. And I think you're gonna pick up on that as we start going through the items that are in here. But before we do that, of course, we gotta talk about the rules, right? Rule number one is that everything in this homemade MRE has to be able to be eaten straight out of the package. Nothing reconstituted, no ramen noodles that need boiling water. Everything has to be able to be eaten out of the package in the event we don't get to cook it. Rule number two is that everything in here has to have a minimum of a 1-year shelf life. That may or may not be an issue this time around. The reason for that is that once I put this in the bag and I put it in storage, that if I don't get around to eating it for a year, that I know that everything was as fresh as possible when it went in. And of course, rule number three is the menu. The meal must have an entree, a side, a walking around snack, a dessert, and a beverage. Let's dive in here and see what is in my homemade MRE from Amazon. This first item, I saw it and I knew I had to have it, and I started building the entire MRE around it. And this was something that somebody mentioned in a comment a while back, but I have not seen these in the store. So when I found them on Amazon, I had to get them. And that is these Philo's Walking Tamales. Now, this is a retort pouch sealed tamale. This particular flavor is bean salsa rojo. And these are made to be eaten straight out of the package or heated up. You can kind of do what you want with that. I'm really excited about trying these, and they do come in a variety of flavors. And this leads me to the first negative issue of buying from Amazon, and that is that in order to get these and to get most of the things in this kit, I had to buy in bulk. When I put everything in my cart for this video, the total cost was over $80. But when it breaks down into the individual ingredients, it's much more palatable that way. But I know that I can build multiple MREs from the contents that I got. So let's hope I like them, because I bought a lot of stuff, but I could not find things like this in individual packs. So if you come across these in the store, that's a good way to go. Now, because I was ordering from an online service, I didn't have the ability to inspect the expiration dates, which rule number two is very much about having things that have a 1-year shelf life. With this particular item, I got really lucky that these have a good long shelf life. This particular thing is good until August of 2025. So fortunately, our entree is gonna be good for a good long time. Our next item is our side, and this was another one of those things that I saw it and knew I was gonna have to have it. And that is this Royal Mexican style rice and street corn. One of my family's absolute favorite things is Mexican street corn. We've learned how to make it here at the house, and it is guaranteed to get gobbled up anytime we make it. So when I saw this, I thought this is going to be a perfect addition to go with that tamale. Now we're exploring another part of that downside to ordering from an online service. This does not have a 1-year shelf life. This will expire in August of this year. So I need to be sure that if I pack these up to put them away, that I put an expiration date on the outside of that package so that I can make sure that it's being consumed before that date, or at least I know I need to go back and inspect it to make sure that everything's still good. But I'm really looking forward to this. Now, I have gotten a lot of requests from people to show some additional methods of preparation for the foods. So in order to get the entree going, I'm gonna show you what we're doing this time. This is something that my wife found a while back, and she loved them so much, she bought one for the house and one for her office. She works in an environment where she doesn't always get to go out for lunch, and this thing has been a lifesaver for her. And that is the Itaki electric lunchbox. I've had some people ask me to check out electric lunchboxes, and I understand that what they're talking about is the trucker style that's more of just a heater. This is an actual cooker. This will allow you to prepare raw foods and make meals inside this little container. We're not doing that today. We're going to use this to heat up our food, but one of the reasons that I chose this was that I can run this on this. I've got a Jackery 240, which is relatively low powered. There's a lot of things you cannot power with this, especially heating devices and such that may have a surge when they fire up and demands too much of a load for this little guy to carry. But I have used that Itaki on this device before. In fact, I've got a video of it if you want to go look for that. But we're going to use this time to show that if you're having to be off grid, if you're in a blackout or whatever, if you've got some kind of little solar generator like this or some kind of small power source, you can still cook good food. So let's get our entree and our side going, and then we're going to see what else is in this bag. All right, let's open up this tamale and see what we've got here. I'm really curious about these. Let's give it a sniff test. It smells very much like a tamale you would buy at a Mexican restaurant. I mean, not that I would expect something different from that, but you just never know when you're getting something like this. That doesn't look too bad. Now, the way this cooker works is you have to add a little bit of water into the bottom of it, and the amount of water that you put in determines how long it's going to be able to cook for. If the calculations are right, it's about maybe 10 minutes per one of these little cups. So something else I got to go in here was these small packs of La Victoria salsa. I bought these in a bulk box because I was trying to limit myself to only items I bought at Amazon. But one of the things about something like this, you can take any salsa pack. You can get the ones that you get at McDonald's with the breakfast burritos. You can even use Taco Bell taco salsa. Technically, it's not salsa like this is. You can throw those into your MRE if that's what you want to do. Of course, we're staying at Amazon, so that's where I got these. I wanted to add a couple of these in while it was cooking to make sure that we get all of that flavor in there, but I did save one to put on top once it's done. So I included 3 packs of salsa in this MRE. Next we have our walking around snack, and for that I got these yummy dried sweet potatoes. We're staying within that Mexican food theme. When I first got these in, I had to fight to keep my wife out of them because she spotted them and immediately wanted them. Fortunately, and unfortunately, this is another item that I had to buy in bulk in order to get them. So I didn't have to fight that hard. Now, the downside is, once again, buying things on an online site, I can't verify what the expiration date is. These are going to expire once again in August of this year. So I got to keep that in mind when I pack these away. For my dessert, this was not a hard sell at all. I got these Old El Paso Fiesta Twists. These are cinnamon and sugar churros, and I do love me some churros, so I have a feeling these are going to be a big hit. But unfortunately, these expire in September of this year. So keep in mind something when I talk about the expiration dates. When I make that rule, that's a rule for me, for making my videos. For one, it makes me work harder when I get into the stores that I can't just grab anything off the shelf and throw it in there. So I have to go that extra step to find things that fit that parameter. But if you're building your own and you don't want to use that, then feel free to do it. There is no hard and fast rule on that that makes you have to do that. I apply that because, especially an item like this, I seriously doubt that this is going to be really good much past the expiration date that's on the package. Part of the reason reason for it is what it's made of, but also how it's packaged. Those are things that you have to take in mind. If you want to argue about, well, you can eat things past their expiration date, that's fine. I'm not advising people to do it because it does run a bit of a safety risk. But if you're comfortable doing that, then go ahead. I'm not going to stop you. All right, and our last item in here, and staying within theme, I got this Abuelita Mexican style hot chocolate. Now, I've been using the Abuelita chocolate in my household for years now. The chunks of Mexican chocolate are great for shaving into coffee and hot chocolate and things like that, or topping desserts. I have not had their hot chocolate. I'm really looking forward to trying this. So there are all of the contents of our Mexican themed Amazon MRE. The entree is cooking, so let's try some of these other things. Let's start with our walking around snack. Let's see how these dried sweet potatoes are. It says natural superfood, 1 ingredient, 12 vitamins and minerals. There's also not a ton of sodium in these. There's 50 milligrams of sodium. So let's tear into this and see what we've got. So the walking around snack is one of those things you can either eat it with your meal or you can put it in your pocket or your pack if you want to consume it later when you're out and about. These have a very fresh sweet potato smell. It's very pleasant and enticing. They have kind of almost like a gummy feel to them. So let's give this a try. If you were basing the experience on the initial first bite, you would probably throw this away. When they say 1 ingredient, these don't have any added sugar, any added salt, anything to them to make it more than just a sweet potato flavor. If you need sweetness in your sweet potatoes to enjoy them, then you're going to want to add something to this. But it is such a wonderful, natural sweet potato flavor. I'm surprised at how good these are if you like the taste of just sweet potatoes. But it's definitely something that's going to be off-putting if you're used to loading them up with sugar and butter and things like that. The texture is a little gummier than I expected, but they are surprisingly pleasant. They're easy to chew. They're very soft. There's a little bit of chew to it, but nothing that you couldn't get to even if you had bad teeth or no teeth. It's far from fruit leather. This is a sizable piece of sweet potato. So there's still a lot of moisture, a lot of flavor, and all of those natural vitamins and minerals that you expect from sweet potatoes. They haven't been cooked out. I'm gonna sit here and eat this whole bag talking about this. It's bizarre how good this is. But as I said, if you base it on that first bite, as soon as you bite into it, you're gonna go, I don't know if I like that. Stick with it. Take a couple more bites. If you're one of those people that has to have sweeteners or salt or whatever, this may not be for you. And now it's time to try our drink, our Abuelita Mexican style instant hot chocolate mix. It's like hot chocolate that's a little spicy. The smell is very much like your standard instant hot chocolate, but it's got a bit of an edge to it. But if you like hot chocolate and you like trying new things, this is a good way to go. Let's mix this up in some hot water. A little shout out to my friends over at Beyond the Bat Cave. They didn't ask me to do this, but it's a collectible store, but they also do a podcast that is, according to the cup, it's live streamed Monday night at 7:00 p.m. The store is called Bat Cave Treasures. Beyond the Bat Cave is their podcast. So if you like nerdy stuff, go check them out. So let's give this a try. Once it's mixed with water, especially hot water, you start to get those extra notes. It's like a cinnamon, spicy kind of note to it. Yeah, that's very pleasant. You can mix adult beverages in with this thing sitting around the campfire and you would have something right here. Ooh, that's really nice. It's very smooth. There are so many possibilities for what you could do with this. Just drinking it like this or adding it to a coffee. Like I said, adding an adult beverage to it. This is a great basic platform for all kinds of stuff, but it's not bad just by itself. Oh, with this cold I've got, this is really good stuff. Whew. That's good. One of the best things about using this Asian style electric lunchbox is that it cooks with steam. So if you're using things like the pre-cooked rice or the pre-cooked pasta, and you don't like the way it turns out sometimes because it can be dry. You can eat it out of the package, but it's very much more al dente than it would be if you cooked it. Cooking with this, the fact that it cooks with steam means that the contents are absorbing all that steam, and everything is kind of fluffing up the way that it should. This is a really good option. These lunch boxes are not that expensive, and although I don't know that they still carry the Itakis on Amazon, that's where we got this one from, but I will link a similar product down in the description box below. By the way, most of the products that I use in this video, including my jacket that I've had a few people ask about, I've got affiliate links in the description box if you want to go learn something about them. So if you've stuck around this long in the video, this would be a good time to give us a like. Also, if you haven't already, please subscribe. This channel's growing like crazy and I'm loving this. And also ring that notification bell so that you'll be made aware of all upcoming videos. And as always, be sure to leave a comment down below. It helps the algorithm, it helps with the channel getting in front of people, but it also generates some great conversation. And if you haven't already figured it out, I listen to the things that you guys are saying, the questions that you're asking, and I take it all into consideration when I'm shopping for my next video. All right, so let's get out this entree and let's see what we've created. Check this out. Here is our tamale with our Mexican style rice and street corn. I've got my other pack of salsa handy. Put that over the top of our tamale. This smells so good. I have high hopes and expectations for this one. I really hope that it's not dashed against the rocks. This really, I mean, look at the rice. That looks so good. All right, so I'm gonna take just a bite of the Mexican style rice and street corn and see how that is. It's got a really good smell, but there is a tinge of a package smell to it that you get with stuff like this. So let's give that a try. That's not half bad. Let's try another. The rice is interesting. It's a mix that's almost like a rice and vermicelli. That's kind of what it looks like and feels like, but I like that a lot. The salsa gets down in the rice by putting it in before I cooked it. I think that helped a lot with getting a little bit of an extra flavor in there. All right, so let's try the tamale. I'm gonna get a piece off of the end here that doesn't have any salsa on it. It's a very traditional looking tamale. I was a little worried when I ordered these and I was reading the description that it was going to be some kind of a weird like food bar kind of thing, that it wasn't actually a tamale, it was like a tamale flavored food. So this looks like a real authentic tamale. Let's give this a try. Ooh, okay. Didn't expect that. That's got a little heat to it. At first the flavor was super mild and not really just an excessive flavor, but then that heat kicks in. Wow, okay. All right, so let's get a little bit with salsa. One of the things about tamales is they do tend to be dry. So having something like salsa to put on top of them is a big plus. Yeah, that's good. Just like that. All right, so let's get a little bit of everything. Some salsa, some tamale, some of the Mexican style rice and street corn. Got that good. Look at that bite. Going in. Y'all, this is so good. I really hate that the expiration dates were so different, because I would pack these up and I'd make MREs out of everything I had left to have more of these. This is really good. That tamale, I am surprised at just how good that is. And if I had some cheese to throw over the top of this, ooh, Lord, that hits the spot. It is fairly spicy. I'm really surprised that it brings that much heat. And as I've said before on this channel, I like spicy food. So if I'm telling you this brings heat, it brings some heat. It's not an insane amount. If you're one of these people that just love super spicy food, you probably won't think much of it. But this, that extra little heat and the flavor that's involved here, this is a good option right here. Absolutely recommend. You know, if you're one of those people that can't really do spicy very well, having these alongside will help. Gonna have to take some of that heat. Let's get us another swig of our Mexican hot chocolate, and then let's try that dessert. Man, that's good stuff. All right, so let's give it a go with these Old El Paso Fiesta Twists. Looks just like the old Taco Bell Cinnamon Twists. Smells pretty much like them. It's got that cinnamon sugar churro smell to it. All right, give it a shot. Oh yeah. These don't have a huge blast of flavor. They're sweet, but they're only really what I would describe as moderately sweet when you compare them to how a lot of things come these days. I'm really surprised there's not a whole lot more sugar on these. Then again, it could be my cold talking. All right, everybody, that is it for our homemade MRE from Amazon. Have you tried any of these things? I'd love to hear if you've tried those tamales and what your opinion of them is. I am pleasantly surprised. Everything in this MRE was outstanding. This may be my overall favorite MRE. When you really look at all of the contents and how everything ties together, this one was really an adventure. And I'm so glad that you guys got to come along for the ride. And please, while you're here, go check out a couple more of my videos. Thanks again for spending your time with me. I cannot tell you what an honor it is to have you guys sit down every week and spend just a little bit of time with me. It's like having an extended family beyond that camera. And until the next time, prepare for the world that you live in, not the one you wish existed. We'll see you around.